Hello everyone and welcome to the STAR Mentoring Program. In this video, I wanted to go over a new concept known as arrays. Believe it or not, we've actually seen this before one time. This string up here is actually not just a string, it's actually an array of strings. So we're going to go over what that means in a bit. Let's first explain why we might want arrays. So let's say we have a ton of numbers we want to store. Like let's say we're storing, I don't know, the letter of everyone's names. So I don't know, 5, 7, you have a 3-letter name, that they have a 4-letter name, 3-letter name, 7, 5, whatever. Tons of numbers. Wouldn't it be kind of a hassle to have to store every single one of these numbers in an entirely new variable? Well, that's what arrays allow us to fix. That's the problem they solve. They allow us to store tons of numbers in just one variable. So let's first create just a number how we normally have. So int number equals, say, 5, just like this. Oh, I put a 6, whoopsie. And just like that, of course, we could create a number and it works just like we've seen before. But what if we wanted to create multiple numbers? Well, the syntax we use for that is two square brackets. And that's basically saying an integer array. And this integer array is a reference type. So that means we need to use the new keyword to create a new integer array. So we're going to say a new int array, just like this. And inside of it, it actually wants us to give it how big the array is. So we're going to say it's 5 elements big. And just like that, we have created a new number array. Now, since this is an array, we probably want to update the name and make it numbers because this is multiple numbers, not just one. So how do we use this? First, let's discuss how to access an element within an array. So let's say we want to get the first element of a number array. We're going to type in numbers 0, and this will give us the first element of the numbers array. So let's try to print this out. System.out.println. We're going to say numbers 0. And this is going to give us the value of that integer at 0, and it's going to default to 0 because integers, since they're not reference types, have a default value of 0. That doesn't happen with the reference types though. We'll explain that a bit more later. So int starts with a value of 0, and so we get 0. But if we printed out any of the elements, like let's say we printed out 3, it will also give us 0, just like that. But let's try to create, let's try to fill this array now. So we're going to say, the way we do that is using the same like accessing operator. We're going to say number 0 equals 1, and we'll keep going. I'm just going to go through the whole list. Numbers 1 equals 2, numbers 2, and you can see I created a little typo up there, equals 3. Let's fix this little typo. And I'm just going to copy paste just to make it a lot easier. Paste, paste. So 3 equals 4, and 4 equals 5. Now if I print out numbers 3, it's going to give us the value 4, because 4 is the value stored in numbers 3 based on this initialization of the array. This is not actually initialization, the assignment of the array. So I want to go over like what happens if we go beyond the length of the array, because notice we've filled up 5 elements and that's how big our array is. And keep in mind this starts from 0, that's why it only goes to 4. So what if we go beyond it? Let's say we tried printing, or let's say we tried assigning something to numbers 5 equals say 6. So let's print out numbers 5 and see what happens. This is something different. So you might remember before, whenever, let's say we'd forgotten a semicolon and we run this, Java is just going to fail to build. But in this case, Java succeeded to build. There weren't any red. The build succeeded, but something different happened. We have what's called an exception in main thread, the array out of bounds exception. Index 5 is out of range for length 5, and it's saying it's on line 9. So what is this? This is an exception, and exceptions are Java's ways of showing us errors at runtime. That basically means after we've started running the program. So this exception gives us the line number that the error occurred at. It tells us the in thread main. We'll learn about this eventually. That's a long way away though, but that basically means we're always going to be using the main thread until we learn what threads are. And we got an array out of bounds exception because 5 is out of bounds of the array. So this is an exception, and you'll see these kind of a lot. I'm actually going to show you on screen right now one example of how exceptions look like in FTC. So let me first get this image for you. One second. Come on. Okay, I'm just going to take a screenshot of it. Hello, it did not pop up. Here it is. Okay, so this is what an exception might look like in FTC. So this is a picture of the driver station phone. This is not a control hub. How do I move this? The heck? I have to use the scroll bars. That's annoying. Okay, so this is what an exception might look like in FTC. Let me make this bigger. So this text is a little bit hard to read, but this says user code through uncaught exception, null pointer exception, attempt to invoke virtual method byte array, com.hardware.links.com.commands.linksDiagram.2 byte array on a null object reference. So this is a null pointer exception. This is a very common exception. It's very easy to make this mistake in Java, and we'll learn like all about these different kinds of exceptions, but this is how they're gonna basically look like. It's gonna basically be read, and this is gonna happen while your robot code is running. It's not gonna happen at build time, because this Java compiler can't catch every single possible mistake that you can make in your code. That's just, if it could, then it could make the program itself. So there's a lot of things that you have to figure out how to do on your own whenever you're doing it.